Your behavior, your actions, the way you think, the way you feel, the people you surround yourself with, uh, the level that you have for your health, your wealth, and your relationships, all of that is directly tied to your identity and how you feel about yourself. And so, one of the best things you can do to change some of those things, if you don't like how your life is going, you have to start asking yourself, okay, right now I am compromising on maybe my finances. I feel that I'm not living up to my greatest standard. And this is how I've been feeling. So if you become clear about what your starting point is, like where you're at, what you've been feeling and thinking at this point, then start to ask yourself, if I identified or saw myself as a person who is highly successful, somebody who is a go getter, somebody who doesn't take no for an answer, somebody who always looks at things with possibilities, not roadblocks, how would I have to start being? Now, when I always say being because I don't like to say acting, because when you say acting, that implies that this is just a part time gig. And so then you only have to be this way once in a while. But when you are being, that means that this is the new identity that you've just stepped into. So you want to step into that new identity and start, I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, act as if, or as I like to say, be as if, and embody or model after the person that, and it doesn't have to be a real person, it could just be somebody that you created in your head. Start to embody some of their habits. Start asking yourself, what would somebody like this, what would they, what are some of their ideas? What do they think about? What are some of their habits? What are some of their non negotiables? What are some of their must haves, must do? And start embodying that. Your identity starts to change for you and you start to become more like that person. Now, the thing is, you want to focus intently with emotion on being that type of person. Because what will happen is the more you focus on becoming more like that type of person, you start to forget about what you used to think, like the way you used to be. And it's almost like if you can imagine like a scab, your old scab, I'm sorry, your old identity kind of sloughs off like a scab. You don't have to pick at it, it just does it naturally. So it's important that you focus on the person that you're trying to embody. And it's important to, well, I'm going to go back a little bit. It's actually, to me, it's been my experience that it's very important to first focus on what your starting point is and what you've been thinking and all that kind of stuff. And then start to focus intently. And I mean intently with emotion, as to the person you want to be like, and be that person full time, not a part time gig, full time. And I'm talking about from the very second you wake up to the minute your head hits the pillow and you doze off. You have to act as if you've been sent by heaven to do this work, whatever work it is. Most of the people that I work with, they don't have necessarily just a vision; they have a mission. And so, when you have a mission, it doesn't matter what is happening in your world. It doesn't matter if you have a health issue, financial hiccup, a divorce, a loss. You're going to get right back up, and you're going to continue on with your mission, whatever that is, because that is a must for you. That has to happen for you, and you're not going to stop until you get to that point. In fact, when you have a mission, it just continues on. It goes from you achieve a certain plateau, and then it's on to the next thing. You achieve another plateau, it's on to the next thing. This becomes your life. This becomes your identity. And the person that you once were just kind of fades off into the ether. And the person that you have now stepped into or become is a person that is now a leader, a go getter, somebody who can bend their own reality. And it's cool because I have gone through this myself a few times, and it just keeps happening again and again and again, where you look back at your life, and it could be just a few months or even a few years, and you'll think to yourself, I remember when some of the problems I had were so consuming, and now I look back and think those problems seem trivial because I've grown so much. And even some of the goals that I had that seemed to be nearly impossible. And now that I've accomplished these goals, they seem almost trivial. And so now you just keep on building from there, and so on and so on. Anyway, just to kind of wrap this up, again, your behavior, we'll just say that your behavior is directly connected to your identity. So if you want to level up, start looking to see what your starting point is, like where you're at now, and start to ask yourself, what would a person need to be like in order to get to that next level? And start writing it down, feeling it, and then embodying it.